Beyond Reach podcast gives the voice to brands, athletes, organizations in the outdoor space industry. Through open conversation, you're going to discover their stories, their successes and challenges, but also their vision. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm so happy you can join us. My name is Kyle Bryans, your host today, and welcome to the Beyond Reach podcast, where we dive deep into the world of sports and the great outdoors. Today's guest is one of Canada's most accomplished long-distance runners, a two-time Olympian, 20-time national team member, and the fastest female marathoner in Canadian history, with a record-breaking time of 2 hours and 23 minutes and 12 seconds. Her running journey began at just 10 years old. After taking a 3-year break from competition in her mid-20s, she returned with renewed passion. In her second marathon and first in over 7 years, she became the second fastest Canadian female marathoner at the Marathon Project in 2020. She went on to place an impressive 13th in her Olympic marathon debut at Tokyo 2020. Her accolades include setting a Canadian record in the 10,000 meter in 2015, winning gold at the 2019 Pan Am Games, and becoming the first Canadian woman to break the 70-minute barrier in the half marathon. Despite facing injuries, illnesses, and setbacks, she has continually demonstrated resilience, proving that she only gets stronger with time. As an A6 Canada athlete, she embodies excellence and inspires others with her fearless approach to the sport. Beyond competing, she's a coach with fierce athletics, mentoring the next generation of runners and sharing her passion for the sport of running. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Natasha Wodak.
Hi.
Hey,
Thanks for that intro.
you're welcome. You deserve it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. When you were reading that, I don't know if you noticed that I was petting my cat and he just randomly bit me. So, so I was had this face. So I didn't mean to throw you off your game or anything. And he didn't bite me hard, but I wasn't looking at him. But just a little love bite from my cat.
What's your cat's name?
This one's Oliver. The other one is Elliot. And I have two.
Oh, love it. You're a cat girl, eh?
I'm a cat lady. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know I am obsessed with cats. It's my
Yes. And you do it. You have a shelter as well, that you volunteer at, right?
I do. I volunteer at VOCRA, Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association here in Vancouver, and I'm there every Fridays helping out. So
and more cats to bite and scratch you.
oh yeah, some of those are, you don't want to get bit by any of those feral cats. So.
That's true. Save it for your ones at home. Oh my goodness. Well, I'd love to continue talking about cats. I love animals. But I'd love to talk about, my goodness, you had such a huge, amazing career. I'd love to kind of take me back to the beginning of, how you began running. Like, how did you get led down, this path of running and then into professional running?
Yeah, I mean, I've been competing since I was a little girl, since elementary school, and I realized early on that I had sort of a natural talent for running, and I played soccer and basketball as well, and was just really athletic throughout high school, and earned myself a scholarship to the University of Arkansas Little Rock. So I went down south in 1999 at the age of 17, and it was difficult for me. I was really homesick and got my first real injury. I got a stress fracture while I was there, and so after a year and a half, I decided to come home, and I finished off my degree at Simon Fraser University, where I competed there on the track and cross country team, and really enjoyed myself there. And I never won like a national title or anything, but I was always pretty good. And after I graduated from university, I decided to quit running essentially. And so for 3 years, I stopped competing. I just ran casually, like 3 or 4 days a week. And and then at one point I moved back to and near my old coach and started training with my group again. And I just started improving really quickly when I was just a little bit older, a little more committed. And ended up making my first national team, I believe when I was 28 years old. So,
Woo.
um, yeah. And then it's just poof, been gone crazy since then. I just
Yeah.
have, yeah, it's been beyond my wildest dreams, what I've been able to achieve in the last, I guess, 15 years. Yeah. I guess since I was a little girl, but really,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Competing more at like a higher level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So you did take a break for 3 years, you said. So
Yes.
what made you decide to, take that break?
Well, when I graduated university, like I was never, I didn't have the dream of going to the Olympics or anything like that. I just didn't see that being a possibility for me. It just wasn't good enough
Mm.
at that time. And I wanted to start a career. I wanted to get, I wanted to become a police officer and just like travel and do a few things. And so running it just sort of served its purpose for me at that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I didn't end up getting into policing, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And so I just started running more. And then that's when I started to improve quite quickly. And then yeah, I just kept running and now it's my job.
Now it's your job, which you love.
Yes,
Um,
very much.
I guess that's that thing where people say like, do what you're passionate about, right? Because that's really the truth of who you are, and it kind of follows you. Like even though you didn't get into policing, you're like, I'm just gonna keep running. I love it. I enjoy it, and it became something. It sparked into something really amazing for you,
Yeah, one door closes, another door opens. We always say that, right?
right? Yeah, yes. Um, so I mean, I know you were doing the 10,000-meter distance, and then you kind of went into doing marathon running. What kind of like inspired you to like, did you switch gears at some point? What kind of happened there?
I had done my first marathon in 2013, and I found the training quite daunting. My body didn't respond that well to it, and mentally, I wasn't enjoying it. It was just a tough time in my life, and so stepped away from the marathon after I competed in 2013, and just went full throttle into the 10,000 meter, the half marathon. I'm running some 5Ks as well, and
Yeah,
had a lot of success there. And so I didn't really feel the need to get back into the marathon. But as I got older, and I got faster and faster, we thought, well, you need to take another shot at the marathon and see what you can really do. So when
yeah,
COVID hit, and everything was canceled, there was a race in Arizona at the end of 2020. And as you know, there was nothing happening in Canada. There was no races. But here
yeah,
was this race that was being set up only for elite athletes and to run Olympic standard. And so it was an amazing opportunity for me to take a crack at the marathon. And so I went down there and just like ended up blowing it out of the water, like
yeah.
beyond what I thought I could do. And that was kind of the beginning of this, new love for the marathon, and doing it at a different time in my life, basically 7 years after I had done the other one.
Right. Which is
It's just
a
different
long
runner.
time.
Yeah, different runner, different
Yeah.
person, different coach, everything was different about where I was in my life, and I really enjoyed the training, I enjoyed the race, and I was just so excited to do another one, and that happened to be the Olympic marathon, which was the next one I did.
Oh my goodness. That's kind of like definitely a life-changing moment, getting that in Arizona, right? That's where you went?
Yeah, the Arizona Marathon Project. Mhm.
Wow. Well, hey, that's a pretty good time, even though even though it was a rough time for the world. I mean, you went down there and you got what, 226?
Yeah, I ran the Olympic standard there, and it
Yeah.
was a huge PB, and yeah, it was great. It was definitely worth the 2 week quarantine I had to do when I got home.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. You're like, I can rest now. I've done it. um
Yeah.
Very cool. So I mean, recently you were on my home turf, back here in Toronto. So just a few months ago in October, I guess. I know you Congratulations, by the way, like becoming the Canadian champion at the Toronto Marathon. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. How'd that race go? I know I read somewhere that, you were feeling a little at the end. I guess during the last dry of the race when you're feeling, not 100%, what kind of pushes you to like mentally push yourself forwards? Like, do you have like a motto or do you have someone in your head that you have like a really good headspace when you're like at the end and you're like you're not feeling very good in those races? What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. The hardest part of running and racing, I think, is the mental piece. When things start to get tough, it's really easy to second guess yourself, question your fitness, question how tough you are. And so those are the thoughts that are going to, come into your head first when things start to hurt is, oh, I missed that run because I was sick, so I'm not fit enough, or this is so hard, I can't do it. I just need to slow down a little bit. Second place is okay. I don't need to win this. All these things over your head. And
Right.
so, yeah, to be prepared for those times in the races by having, like you said, a motto, words that you
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
um, checklist. So for me, I have a number of different things that I repeat. I've got this. Yes, I can. This is my race. And I am known to yell it out loud. I'm known to swear at myself. You happen to watch the broadcast, you can actually hear me swearing.
Hilarious.
I'm very I basically yell at myself to keep pushing, to work hard. And I go through little checklists that I can, like, okay, like what can you do to make this just a little bit easier? So, like shake your arms out, take a deep breath into your stomach, quicken your stride.
Yeah.
Think about who's coming up on the race course. So I usually know where people are going to be. And in Toronto, I knew at like 40K was going to be one of my best friends. I knew she was going to be there. And I just remember seeing her coming over this like overpass and
Yeah.
you can see me reach out and grab her hand and just like that was just a little bit of something that I needed in that moment. So I coach a lot
Aw.
of athletes and I always encourage them to have phrases written down on their hands. They've repeated them. It's not like a day before thing. They've repeated them in training. We've practiced
Mhm.
it. Also know where your support system is out on the course. Take the time to high five them, say hi, like, take that energy from them and use it towards helping yourself when you're having a rough patch, or even on
Yeah.
your good day, you take the extra energy.
Take it
Take it
all.
all.
Yeah. Boost me. That's true. No, that's an interesting, yeah, way of thinking about it. You need people along the path to be like, you got this, right? Like keep going. You're almost there. And everyone needs that. So that's really cool that you have that people in place. Um so I mean this is going back a little bit into, when you went to the Olympics. But like what did it mean to represent Canada on in the Olympics when you went?
It's, an absolute honor and privilege to represent your country, especially Canada. I'm so proud to be Canadian. We live in such an amazing country. Sometimes people don't realize that. I feel like they need to travel the world a little bit more and see how lucky we are to live here and how great
Right.
this country is. And, also representing a country that sends us there and supports us and funds us. And yeah, it is. Every time you wear the jersey, I just feel such a sense of pride, and it's not lost on me what a privilege it is to
Mhm.
compete in sport. So many countries don't send athletes to big events and things like
Yeah.
that. I feel grateful. Yeah, and just being able to, be the best in my country is really, really cool. And, it's a reward for the hard work that you put in to be able to go to, things like the Olympics. And you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your family and your support team. And so when I make these teams, it's not just me that's made the team. It's, my coaches and my friends that have been there training with me and my parents and everybody that has been a part of my journey is always like, I hope that they feel when I make the team that they get, they get pride in that and they feel like they're a part of that as well. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's yeah, you're very humble. You're very humble because it's not everyone does get to do, do sports, and especially women, right? I mean, we can look at the Olympics that just happened and how it there was what 50% equilibrium of athletes, right? Of both sexes. So I mean, that's really cool that we can say that we've come to a place where, there's more women in sports today. Um,
Definitely, there were more women competing, but there were not more women. There was not an equal amount of women coaching. So we
okay.
definitely need more women in those roles, which is why I am so passionate about coaching. And when I'm done professional running, I want to go full throttle into coaching. And
Yeah.
yeah, definitely we need more female leadership in
Yes.
sport.
So you've been there for 15 years, in this running sport. I guess how would you say like it's changed for women in those 15 years plus, since you've been running at that high level?
I mean, it hasn't just been 15 years. Like when I was born in 1981, women weren't
Yeah.
even allowed to compete in the marathon
Oh my goodness.
at the
Wild.
Olympics. It wasn't until 1984 that the women's marathon was in the Olympics. So it's in my lifetime, I was not actually allowed to compete in the marathon. So we've come a long way, especially, I mean, in the last, I would say 15 years, there has been a lot more of a push for female females to run marathons earlier. I
Mhm.
feel like when I was in college, 20 years ago or so, it was like you run the 5K, maybe the 10K, but like the five was usually now it's like women
Yeah.
are graduating and running the marathon right away. And it took me a while to get into it because that just wasn't something that was being done. And I also think now we're seeing that women and men can compete much longer. Before it was like, oh, you retire in your 30s, maybe your late 30s, and now we're running well into our 40s.
Yeah.
I'm turning 43 next week and I
Woo.
have no plans on stopping anytime soon. So,
Yeah.
we can compete and compete very well in our 40s still. And that was something I don't think 15 years ago I necessarily thought would happen and you didn't see it as often. I mean, there were still women running well in their 40s, but there's way more women running well in their 40s now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. You don't hear of that often back then, but it is true. You do hear it more of now, but what would you say that longevity is from? Like, how do you keep that passion of going, and racing?
I feel I I live the dream. I feel like I'm living out my dream. My job, I get paid to compete and travel the world and
Mhm.
train. And yes, it can be incredibly difficult sometimes when it's pouring rain and 2 degrees and I have to go out and train alone and do a workout. Those days suck, yeah. But the majority of the time, I really enjoy competing. I enjoy practicing. I enjoy strength training. There's an amazing run community out here. I think the longevity piece, I would say, comes from really great coaching, great support, like physio, chiro, massage. My partner is amazing. He supports me fully, encourages me to continue training. I take rest and recovery very seriously. I cross train. There's many pieces. I eat well. I fuel well. That's all these different pieces that you
Yeah.
need to do it all in order to have this longevity. And I think the most important piece is just to have a passion and love for the sport. And I think that's been why I have been successful and why I'm still in the sport.
Yeah, no, amazing. Kudos to you. I am not a runner. I I grew up playing hockey and it's skiing. But I mean, I feel like, when I did run, like, I ran in high school actually, and it's like it's very peaceful, like it's actually a very peaceful, like almost like a meditation because you're just with your thoughts and you're just running, right? So it's actually um yeah, I don't know where I'm where I'm going with this, but it's a very like therapeutic sport almost, if that makes sense.
Totally. And that's why a lot of people run. They it's a time for themselves.
Mhm.
And whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning before they work, it's a time that they can go out and just, feel the sun on their face, or some people love running in the rain, or just being at peace and being out there, and running, meeting up with a friend, like having chance to have an hour running and have a therapy session with your friend, you know what I mean? Like, and while you're exercising. So a lot of people use running as a way to like, or like, oh, I'm really angry, and they go out there and just run it out.
That's
There's
true.
all sorts of ways that people use running as a way to, um, I guess, meditate, as you said.
Good dopamine. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's all really good for you. Okay. I'm gonna go back to so you've held the national record, in the marathon, but you still didn't qualify for the Paris Olympics. I know I'm not gonna send this too long because I know it's still probably fresh for you. But I mean, anyone who has ever, achieved any high standard in life, has had setbacks. And I'm just wondering, what was the healing process for you after that dream didn't happen? How did you like pick your bootstraps up or your running shoes up, I guess, and lace up again, and kind of move forward to what's next?
Yeah, I think that because I've been to the Olympics twice, that was definitely helpful. It wasn't like I missed it and I will never have known. Like I know I've went,
Mm.
and I understand that making that team is an incredible privilege. And so, um, I was very frustrated and disappointed in myself for not it didn't happen, and it should have. I had the fitness and the ability to run that standard. And so when I wasn't able to in that time period, I was left feeling like it just wasn't fair. But the sport owes you nothing, life owes you nothing, and life's not fair. So I didn't spend time feeling sorry for myself. I live a very privileged life. It's not lost on me. I'm lucky to do this. And yeah, I didn't make the Olympics, but I have so much to be grateful and happy for. And there's so many more races to come. And there was just, it's funny. I sat there this fall and I was driving and I thought, I'm happy. I feel really happy. And I didn't go to the Olympics, and it's like, that's, to me, it was such I don't know how to describe it. It was, a moment I wanted to share with people, that like you have these big goals and big dreams, and sometimes they don't happen, and you feel like it defines you or it's going to make you sad. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't. Life goes on. Other great things happen. Other opportunities happen, and you're going to be just as happy. So, I had other opportunities come about, and I've had a great year. And so, that's been, yeah, yeah. And it was disappointing then, but I'm over it for sure. I don't
Yeah.
spend any time really thinking about it anymore. I will say, on the
No,
last
she's
week,
listening.
um, last week the Olympic team went to Ottawa,
Mm,
and they got to meet the prime minister and get pictures taken with them and everything. And in 2020, after the Olympics, we didn't get to do that because of COVID. We still weren't
right.
able.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
missed it in 2016. I couldn't go. So, and people are probably going to say, something about this, but I don't care. I'm a big Justin Trudeau fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The hair.
heart. I do find him quite nice looking as well.
Yeah.
My partner knows this. So I was very disappointed that I did not
Oh,
meet
oh,
the prime minister.
yeah.
So yeah, that was like, oh, that was tough to watch, but
You should
more
have
like,
went and photobombed in the background.
oh
You
man, if I'd known they were going to be there, I would have flown to Ottawa on my own.
Yeah, yeah,
3 years, 4 years ago.
yeah, yeah. Can I have a photo, please? Come on. I was gypped. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. But yes, yeah. Well, again, you are very humble, Natasha. Oh my goodness, very, very humble, and I think those are a lot of life lessons for anyone listening, anyone watching. That you know, any one of us has setbacks and big dreams that don't happen, but it just means there's another opportunity around the corner, right? And so, yeah, so very, very beautifully said. Um, so I know you mentioned, coaching and how that's a huge passion for you. And I love that because, I'm sure, whenever you decide to stop running professionally, like that's going to be such an amazing chapter of your life. But for, athletes listening, maybe especially female athletes listening and watching, what does it take, mentally and physically? What does it take to, build up to that professional athlete, professional runner status, I guess?
Yeah, it's kind of going back to when I was talking about why I've had longevity in the sport and why I've had success. There's so many factors, at the end of the day, there does need to be, I'll be honest, a bit of luck, right? To stay healthy and to have, um, yeah, to have, doors open at the right time, to have, be able to get, race well on the right day, not get injured or not get sick. Like there's many amazing athletes that will never have gone to the Olympics because every cycle they get injured around that time and
Yeah.
things like that. But I would say as, a young athlete, I think some important things are number one, your support system. You know, you need a great coach, a coach that you have good chemistry with, that you trust, that believes in you, that respects you and respects your opinion. Um, if you have a coach that's isn't open to hearing what you have to say, no, you need to have a good relationship with a coach. That's very important, and you have to trust.
Mhm.
You got to have people in your life that believe in you, that support you, that say, yes, you can do this, and are willing to help you out. Have friends that, if they're not runners, are willing to bike with you or just show up for you. Like I have plenty of friends that have been out there biking with me or come out to training sessions.
Yeah.
My parents come out on their e-bikes still, in their mid-70s, and, so having people that
Aw.
support and believe in you,
Yeah.
believing in yourself, having passion, having drive, and not letting, like, you're gonna have so many failures, way more failures than success, so just, like, not letting that
Mhm.
stop you, being, being able to persevere in tough times, and, yeah, a number of things, and, ultimately, you just have to really want it. And yeah, be gritty, be tough, and willing to show up when it's pouring rain.
Do you like running in the rain?
I live in Vancouver, so I don't have a choice. I'm used to it. I don't mind if it's not really, really cold. Like you can ask
Yeah.
anybody and they'll say the worst running weather is when it's like 1 or 2 degrees and
Okay.
raining.
Yeah.
If you'd way rather it be like -5 and like light snow than like
Right.
if you're just cold, your gloves get wet, your hands are freezing, your tights get
Yeah.
soaked through, you can't feel your legs, like,
Yeah.
really, it's not fun, so, luckily, there's only, a few times a year when I end up having a big workout on a day like that, and,
Yeah.
it does make you tougher, and when you have days, you show up for a race and you're like, "Oh, I'm running a half marathon today, and it's 4 degrees and raining," you're like, "Well, I know I can do it because 'cause I've trained through this," so,
Mhm. I've trained it. I've got it.
yeah.
So when you're training, are you mostly like training, I was just curious, like by yourself, or are you with other runners, or maybe both, I guess?
I do a lot of training on my own. My coach
Okay.
lives in Victoria on the island, so I get over there to do training with him and some athletes up there. I would say every couple of months, depends what I'm training for. Here in
Yeah.
Vancouver, I have a few guys that will jump in workouts with me, which is fun,
Great.
and I have Jim and Mary Hines. They're very good, close family friends. They're a huge part in the run community. They volunteer. They bike with me for almost all of my marathon sessions. So
Oh.
um, while I run alone a lot, I'm never really alone for my workouts. I mean, midweek, like this morning, I was alone. But a lot of my easy runs, there's a huge run community here in Vancouver, and I have lots of friends that I run with all the time that just have
Yeah.
different coaches, and we're different levels of running, but we can always run easy. So I would
What do you
say,
call it? What do you call an easy run?
okay, like Yesterday I had a 60-minute easy run in the morning.
Okay, 60
And I
minutes. Okay.
averaged 5:04 kilometer pace.
Whew.
But my
5:04.
marathon pace is 3:25, so that
Okay.
you can see the difference there, right? That's
Right. A little more steady. Okay.
definitely you're keeping your heart rate between about, 125 and I would say 145, 150 is pushing it. But that's for me. I'm usually my heart rate's like between 130 and 140 on my easy runs.
Wow, your easy runs. Okay, so in your easy runs for 60 minutes, you have people. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. Um, but good. I'm so happy that you have people like that work out with you. Like that's so fun. Like, cause you go to the gym to work out with people, right? So it's different when you're like running. I guess you can run inside, but like if you're running outside, it's like you want people around you as well.
do- I do a lot. I do a lot of workouts by myself. Like this
Yeah.
morning I was out there and it was 26K of running and work, and it was alone.
Yeah.
And, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm used to it. So, but
Mhm.
when I have the marathon sessions, which are, 30K to 35K of work, it's nice when I have people biking with me when you're out there for 2 hours plus.
Yeah.
I recruit people all the time. I'll recruit friends and family to come and ride with me. And it's fun for them too, because we get to chat and catch up. And I'm usually, if I'm not running really hard, I'm talking a lot. So
I was gonna say, like, how do you run and talk? But like, I mean, you have such amazing endurance. You probably can
like,
do, you're probably more talented than me. I'd be like, like,
my job.
yeah. Okay, amazing. So outside of running, I know you talked about cats and we talked about the cat shelter. What other things do you like to do on your rest time, I guess?
Drink wine.
Drink wine?
Yeah, I definitely love wine. My partner and I love wine tasting and stuff. So a
Mm,
lot of times, if we have vacation, we like to go to wineries and try different stuff. That's really fun.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm pretty chill. I'm not a big hiker. That's not really, I spend so much of my life exercising that when I'm not training, I'd rather go to Mexico and sit on the beach and
Ooh,
read a
nice.
book and drink a margarita. I mean, we were on holiday a couple weeks ago and we were in Mexico, and yeah, I just loved like reading my book and relaxing. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so I like to bake and, but I'm pretty chill.
Do you still run when you're on holidays? Or are you totally off?
It depends. If it's post marathon, I won't run, but I was running. So I ran every morning,
Yeah.
kind of like at sunrise, and it was nice. And I enjoy those runs, and it's warm, and,
Mm.
it's always nice you start the day with exercise and then afterwards you feel like, okay, I can go and like eat all the ice cream and
Yeah. Sounds good.
drink all the margaritas. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I sound like an alcoholic. I don't
No,
drink
no,
that
no,
much,
no.
but I definitely enjoy a nice glass of wine and a good margarita.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, well, you run hard, work hard, play hard, right? That's how it goes. I mean,
I used to play really hard, but not anymore. I'm a little more grown up now, and I don't like being hungover. So,
no.
no.
So what's next for you? Do you have another race coming up in the future here?
Yeah, I'm running the Houston half marathon in about 5 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. That's where I set the Canadian record in the half marathon in 2020,
Yeah.
which then was broken 2 weeks later. So it'd be nice to take a crack at taking that back, getting that record
Mhm.
back. So excited to go there. And then I am running a spring marathon in March. I'm not allowed to say which one it is yet, but
Okay.
it is abroad. So I'm very excited to travel somewhere. I haven't raced a marathon in this country before. That's my hint. So,
Oh,
oh wait, no,
okay. Let me just
that's a lie.
Oh, bummer.
That
Okay.
is a lie. That is a lie I have. I haven't ran this marathon before. So either way.
Okay.
So I'm excited to do that. And my partner Alan's going to come with me, and it's going to be a lot of fun, as much fun as a marathon can
Good.
be. But
Gonna be in a warm place.
I don't know if it's going to be warm. It's not going to be
Oh,
super
okay.
cold. We'll go somewhere warm after.
Okay. Yes.
We
Recoup.
usually tack on a holiday after a marathon.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so yes, so yeah, you're gonna do those races. That's great coming up. Not a lot of rest over the holidays, I guess, because you're gonna be preparing for your next race. But what in the next like 5 years are your goals? Like, do you have any goals in the next 5 years you're trying to really accomplish?
I'd like to lower the Canadian record in the marathon. Maybe in March. I don't know if I'll be ready by then, but I would like to take a crack at sub 2:23. I'd like to place in the top 10 at World Championships in September. Those are in Tokyo.
Hmm.
I'd like to run a personal best in the 10K on on the track. I'd like to make the team for the LA Olympics in 2028 if my body
Yes.
will allow me to. Yeah, just enjoy the sport and enjoy every opportunity that comes my way. Say yes to more races. Um, and yeah, try to also make some good prize money, like
Yeah.
life is short. Make a little bit of money while you're at it. And yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, 5 years is a long time. I'll be
It is.
48,
Yeah,
48, 5 years. So I don't know what running will look like for me then,
it's true.
but
Yeah,
one
it's
year at a time, 1 year at a time.
one race at a time, 1 year at a time. That makes sense. Okay, I only have a few more questions on my roster here, and then I will let you go. Back to your cat, of course. So what I did want to ask, of course, so work for a video production company. Curious about what you do with your marketing, what you're doing with your video, to grow your personal brand.
Uh,
Hard question.
Yeah, that to me is not my biggest concern. My number one priority is just being an athlete and being authentic.
Yeah.
And so I love that I have a sponsor with ASICS that gives me the freedom to post when I want to and authentically
Mhm.
and not mandate me on you need to post every week and this and that. And so it does come across when I do post. I'm posting about products that I like and
Yeah.
um I know there's probably things I could be doing on my social media to grow my platform and this and that, but at this time in my life, that's just not my priority and not
No.
something that I want to spend time doing. So I haven't really. I put more of my time and effort into growing my coaching than growing my social media presence, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you can definitely market your coaching, of course, too. But yeah, I love that you said authentic. I mean, just being authentic, anywhere, marketing wise, it's gonna, tell people who you are, right? People just want to know who you are as a person, maybe your cat, I'm sure you have some nice cat pose on there. And they would probably love that. But I think that's like most of my questions. I think I got a full circle. Oh, look at him. See, he's so cute. Very cute color. Of
Can
his
the world see him? Hi.
little white and
I brought my cat onto the podcast.
yes,
He looks very grumpy though, doesn't he?
if you're listening, he's white and brown and he's very cute.
He's a mutt. He is a mutt.
He's a very cute. Oh, he's very big.
He's huge. He's a rescue.
Oh,
No,
wow. That's
of course.
amazing. You're doing so much in the world that you can even give back to cats. I love that that's something that you do. Um, is there anything
Everybody should
else?
volunteer if you have
Everybody should
time.
volunteer.
Yeah, if you have time, it's a good thing to do and it makes you feel good.
Yes.
Uh, you don't need to do it so you can say I volunteer or whatever. I go in, I've been going in for 10 years and I just feel that every little bit helps to make a difference. And I hear people say all the time, oh, I wish I could volunteer. And it's a matter of sort of like getting into a routine of doing it. And then when you do, you're like, it's just a good thing to do. And
Yeah.
there's just so many places that need people's help, and cat shelters and human shelters. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
human,
Yeah.
yeah.
You should run with, you could get one of those backpacks and you could run with your cat in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be a nightmare. Yeah.
No, that's probably not really humane, or mind. But yeah, that's I love that you can do that. And yeah, everyone volunteer anywhere. If you're not a cat person, there's lots of people out there, or there's dogs, there's lots of things to volunteer with. Um
Mhm.
so is there, I know we covered a lot. Is there anything else that, that we didn't cover that you want to speak of, or speak about?
No, I think we've covered a lot of fun topics, and it's been great chatting.
Yeah, perfect. Well, where can people, I guess, follow you or connect with you? Maybe they want to, follow your journey, as you continue to compete and test limits. Where can they catch you?
I am on Instagram, Tasha Wodak, TASHAWODAK. I am on X, formerly
Yeah,
Twitter,
right.
and
I think of that for a
my,
minute.
my Facebook is private, and I am not on TikTok. So really, Instagram is the way to go.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, everyone.
Oh,
Thank
wait, most important one, Strava. You find
Strava.
me on Strava, it's a running app.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yes. Love it.
Look me on Strava.
Okay, perfect. I didn't even know about this app, so I'm gonna have to look this up. Strava. What? So a Strava is just like an app you use, like, I guess, for running and.
Yeah, it's not just running, it's running and cycling and all fitness. So it connects to your GPS watch and it uploads your activity. Then you can like title it and tell people about what you did. It shows your paces and times, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, so it's really cool. So you can go on there and you can see like what other people are doing, and
So people
yeah,
can
so
go
check it
on and
out.
see your times.
Yep.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Amazing. Okay, so thanks so much for joining us today on this episode of Beyond Reach podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it inspiring. Everybody should get up and go for a run right now, right?
Yes.
But as always, please follow the show so you don't miss a beat, and I will talk to you next time.